Hey guys, what's up? Emo Cat Dad here, bringing you another Emo Cat Dad Listens. If you just stumbled across this video, what I do is every day of 2024, I've decided to check out a new band or artist and make a short little video. So I check out 4 songs from each band or artist. I give you my quick thoughts on the songs, I rank them, and I give you my thoughts overall on the artist. That about sums it up. And on Sundays, I'm doing a special thing called Ladies Night. Obviously, this music scene we're in does have some ladies, but it's mostly male dominated, and I realized early on that, I needed to mix it up a little bit to not get When We Were Young. So every Sunday, I'm checking out a band or artist that, has at least a female in it. And today, I'm checking out the band Jinjer. So what I knew about Jinjer going in, they're a metal band. They kind of blew up a couple of years ago because of reaction videos where people were shocked about the lead singer Tatiana's vocals, how it went from soft to super brutal screams. I'm sure I had heard that song maybe around that time, but honestly, I don't really remember. So I'm going into this as fresh as I can be with Jinjer, and let's check it out. So the first song I listened to was off their King of Everything album, and it was called Pisces. Now, given the amount of streams, I'm assuming this is the one that kind of blew up, but it was released in like 2016, and I thought it was more recently that that reaction stuff happened, but maybe I'm wrong. So the song was definitely not what I expected early on, especially. But once those heavy vocals kick in, I can say with absolute certainty that this was worthy of all the reaction vids it got. The lyrics are pretty weird. I'm not sure if that's a European thing or like a language barrier thing, but the bigger problem, I think, was musically, I was pretty bored when it wasn't heavy. Now, maybe that was just because my expectations were not for it to be this soft, except for in the chorus, but still not a bad song. Okay, so next up, I listened to Outlander off their Cloud Factory album. So on Spotify, this album is listed as 2 years after King of Everything, but I'm thinking this is probably when they blew up and they re-released a previous album that they had self-released. But I'm curious if they remastered it, because this sounds really good for a self-released album from like 2012. Musically and vocally, Outlander is much more my style than Pisces. Alright, now let's actually go back to their next album after King of Everything, and it was Macro. And I checked out the song Judgment and Punishment. We came from the lands where kindness. So first off, I love the switcheroo with Judgment and Punishment instead of Crime and Punishment. Very clever, Jinjer, very clever. Also, what was very clever was the heavy guitar intro into what I can only describe as a early No Doubt impersonation. It had this reggae tinge to the music, and Tatiana sounded like Gwen Stefani off Tragic Kingdom. And then later on the song, when they kind of yell booyah at the end of a line, I literally laughed out loud. This song stylistically is definitely all over the place. But again, I didn't hate it. Sometimes that's a big negative for me. But it kind of worked here, probably just because it didn't stick to one thing too long. Although they did keep coming back to those Gwen Stefani reggae-tinged parts. And finally, I checked out Vortex, which is off their most recent album. So again, this part had a section that made me laugh out loud. I don't think this one was meant to, unlike the booyah. I think they knew that was a little bit cheeky. But the last lyric is man's toes, and then it goes really heavy. So I just picture them playing the song live, yelling man toes, and then people just going crazy. Musically, the song is kind of what I expect the Deftones to sound like. I've never really dug into the Deftones, but yeah, this is what I imagine a female Deftones band would sound like. You guys can let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But I feel like I'm right. The ending whirl, spin, swirl was probably the best part. It was a little repetitive, but they kept switching it up, and it was just so heavy to go out on. I appreciated it, and that's probably definitely my favorite part of Vortex. Alright, so overall my thoughts on Jinjer are that they are worthy of all the attention they got. They seem to be switching it up a lot. They're not content to stay in one genre, whether that's, the European groove metal of the early stuff or the new, new metal grunge Deftones-ish sound of Vortex. Again, let me know if I'm wrong. I really don't know what to expect from the Deftones. They're supremely talented. Tatiana's voice is worthy of all the praise it gets. But overall, I don't know if I dive into Jinjer too much more. You guys let me know in the comments if I'm way off base and just pick some bad songs. But speaking of songs, let's rank these bad boys. Number 1, no surprise, it's Outlander. This was by far the song I enjoyed the most. Number 2, we're going Pisces. I said the music was boring, but that was mostly based on expectations. I really did enjoy the soft vocals that went with the hard. The contrast of the two was spectacular, and that's why it's at number 2. At 3 is Judgment and Punishment. Again, not a bad song at all. Lots of fun parts, but it's more of a collection of fun parts rather than a complete great song, in my opinion. And last but not least is Vortex. Alright guys, that's it. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I'm your friendly neighborhood Emo Cat Dad. I need your help. Hit the comments below. Tell me which bands I should check out. Maybe it's the Deftones. Maybe you're like, Emo Cat Dad, you need to listen to the Deftones. They sound nothing like Vortex. You're stupid. Check them out right now. Make your next video that. And maybe I'll do it. I don't know. You guys let me know. But if you're new here, thank you for making it to the end of the video. But I also need one more thing from you, as well as your comments and suggestions. And that's for you to cut my wrists and hit subscribe. Emo Cat Dad out. Peace, everyone.